Wagema. I hope it is still morning, right?
You're standing between us and tea.
You should remember you're talking to the regulator. Yeah, so thank you very much for all the introductions we've had. I think I'm going to have a fairly easy time now that Mr. Wayaki has covered almost everything I was to say. In fact, I need to just close this machine and we call it a day. But because you called me here, I'm going to just take you through a quick run of some of the aspects from a regulatory perspective that we are looking at. So then you leave here more capacitated, if you like. Okay, so a quick one. I have put up there a very nice loaf of bread. And I'm seeing she's smiling. Yeah, so essentially what we're trying to say here is take this loaf of bread and take the already sliced side to be a REIT. And the other side, which is kind of a block of it, as your asset. Essentially what you're trying to do is to split your asset so that it is more affordable and it can be easily accessed, right? We have already talked about, buying land. Of course, you require quite some millions for you to do that. And therefore, if it's possible to split it into smaller pieces without doing the actual thing, then it makes it easier for it to be invested in. That's essentially the communication we're making. And the REIT market can be looked at from that very basic definition. Quickly to the structuring, I know there has been a lot of talk around, so the REIT manager, the sponsor, the REIT itself, the trustee, and of course properties. Essentially what we are trying to say here is it's a fairly straightforward relationship if you take your time to appreciate exactly what is going on here. And important parties to the same, as you can see, of course, we have the trustee, and you cannot establish a REIT without a trustee. You need someone to have custody of the assets and have a fiduciary duty to ensure that these assets have been secured in the long term, and that is how quality can be infused into these assets. Ensuring, of course, that the relationship between the sponsor or the promoter and the REIT itself has some separation, so then you don't mix and mingle things up. And if there is a challenge financially to the sponsor, and then so everything goes down south. That is all we are trying to avoid. I think there has been a lot of highlights of the regulations and what we are supposed to do to ensure then that we have a REIT that can stand the test of time. And all those parties you're seeing there are there to ensure that, one, there's an asset already secured, because as we said, you cannot have a REIT without an asset backing it up. There's a manager who is a professional that brings in expertise to the management of the asset, so that in case any issues come up on the asset, the REIT manager is able to not only report, but also engage the relevant stakeholders to ensure that the REIT stands the test of time. Without having to go deep into the structure, I just wanted to indicate that there are a number of considerations that you have to make when you're trying to put your asset into a REIT arrangement. And the aspects around asset quality, very important. Professional management of the same, and that's why we have all these players, including our lawyers, just to ensure that we are sticking within the narrow path. Then there is the element of regulatory oversight, which is absolutely important because, again, investors want to be reassured all the time that nothing is going to go wrong. And the aspects around rent, ensuring that this asset is generating some income, which is why one gets into the REIT arrangement in the first place. Um,